Hi everyone, this is Andy coming back at you with another video. And in this video, I wanted to share with you some of the stats that I've had between high school and Princeton. In terms of my favorite courses, in high school, my favorite course was definitely a required course. It was just personal finance. So there I learned about what a credit card is, or how to pay back your debt, or the importance of that, and how to manage your finances to make sure you're not drowning in debt, or even how to get a car. I think these were really useful things that I at least got exposure to in high school, which I found it to be super beneficial. And it was one of the classes that was the most useful in my real world life. In college, I think my favorite course will have to be this core course in my department called Disease Ecology, Economics, and Policy. So it was a course that was very interdisciplinary and oddly relevant in the midst of the coronavirus, COVID-19, because it discusses not just the epidemiology of disease and how it spreads through the SIR models, but also the economics of it, the human response in reaction to certain policies, and then how any policy has a multifaceted impact on the world. And specifically, we focused on disease. In terms of my favorite activities, in high school, I would say volunteering at a nursing home was my favorite thing. It was what first brought me to think that I want to become a doctor. I enjoy just hanging out with the residents and just chatting with them, understanding their lives, and trying to empathize with them in their situation. And I really felt like time just flew by when I was there, and I really got to enjoy myself. In college, my favorite activity will have to be my involvement in the student government. It was a great way for me to just understand how policies were even formed within the university. So I think that's a smaller scale of how policies would be formed anywhere. So in governments, you have natural bureaucracies. And I think working in student government allowed me to understand and maneuver that bureaucracy, and also sort of realize how complicated any sort of policy-making body is. Ironically, it was also what finally deterred me from considering going directly into politics, because I feel like the gridlock that I experienced, or the apathy of the student body towards any policy proposals or any initiatives that we had, really made it discouraging to us, as if we're just not representative of the student body at all. It just ends up seeming like we are sort of this dictator body that just does what we want, when that's really not true. So because of that, I just decided I don't think running for office is the thing for me. It might change in the future, but who knows? We'll never know. So this is talking about GPA, which is a very touchy subject. In high school, I remember my GPA being around a 3.97, but that was mainly because I personally believed it was relatively easy to do well in terms of your grades, just because I think it wasn't as rigorous or cutthroat. In college, I don't quite remember. It was much more difficult, I would say that. The curves sometimes were really harsh. I remember my Spanish class, to get an A, I needed to get a 95 and above, and below that was just going downhill. There were also just really amazing classmates in all of my classes, and they're just so brilliant. And sometimes I just don't understand how they can explain the material so well or know it so fluently. So yeah, my college GPA was around 3.75, and I did manage to get one A plus in a class that I really enjoyed, and I think that was just because I just spent way too much time in it, and it was sort of my pastime. I couldn't stop studying it because it was such a fun topic. In high school, my SAT score, I took it twice. I don't remember what I got the first time, but I think there was some mechanism where you can add up the highest grades in each category. And after the second time I took it, that uh, left me with a 2260. I think so, somewhere around there, like 22 something. And then for ACT, I got a 34, and I just moved on. I was like, I don't think I need to improve anymore. I could definitely have done better if I had studied a little bit harder. I still had, I think, a full year before I needed to apply to school before I could retake the SAT/ACT. But I think at some point it becomes a little bit pointless to keep on trying. And also, my experience of studying for the SAT was not pleasant. It was just all day grueling my vocabulary. I remember doing grammar drills and a lot of practice tests. So, yeah, those are some of my stats between high school and college. Obviously, colleges don't want you to be the ideal human. It's not that necessary, and I think you should just focus on being yourself. I've helped many students apply for college and who didn't have the perfect scores, but they were able to get into their dream colleges because they didn't care about what people said. They didn't craft the ideal response to every question that people asked. They didn't have this imagery of what is the perfect applicant and go with it. These are people who went and spent their days doing drama club or helping people clean the bay, and that was just various exciting forms of expressing their passion, and I think that's what's the most important. And these are only the basic statistics and my personal experience. Um, Obviously, it's not representative of everyone who attends Princeton, and I'm sure many people have done significantly better than I have. And I'm sure some people didn't do as well as I have in terms of GPA or standardized testing. But I'm sure those are not the sole factor in determining a person's success. And because of that, I think we should just not care as much. It's just a test, you know? Like, do your best and then pray. Just go on and show them who you are. And if you didn't get in, then maybe you don't want to get in, or etc. I don't know, I think I'm going on a tangent now, but yeah, those are my stats. That's it. That's all I wanted to say. Okay, bye guys.